after just, it was a couple just, it was like my quality was going downhill a little bit. And I don't know what was going on. I realize now what was happening, but.
Which was just too much being thrown at you?
It was too much. I started an office job. And I was really upset that I was in this office all the time because I wasn't used to it. I was used to, we're going to the beach, take pictures. We're going, I did what I wanted to. Everything was cool. But then it was like it was so wishy-washy. And then the people that own the cigar factory sold the building. So it was, I don't have a place to shoot on a steady basis anymore. Right. And then, the money went down. So I went and got this job in an office. And, at the time, my children's father and I were breaking up at the same time. So I was already like, ugh. And I met this man at this office and went through a lot of drama at first, but then he ended up changing my life. But I met him and we fell in love, and then we stopped talking, but we were still friends. It was just, it's a dramatic love story. But he did change my life. I owe a lot. I give him a lot of credit. Because he helped make me into the person that I am today. Because I am not the same person at all. I'm much, much stronger and know a lot more stuff. Mm-hmm. But I went down to Naples with friends, clients, after Christmas. And I quit the job at the office. I had no idea what I was going to do. Wasn't with this guy. Wasn't with my children's father. I was just like, ugh. And I went down there with them because I did this couple's engagement photos. I did their wedding. I did her sister's wedding. I did their pregnancy announcement. I did, what else did I do? I did the 1 month pictures of their oldest. And then we stuck that child in a pumpkin for Halloween, and then stuck him in a box wrap with Christmas paper, and they're the Pinterest fails because he's screaming in the photos. They're my favorite photos. This poor kid we've tortured. Like, what else can we put him in? And they just had another baby, so I'm like, yes! And they live up the street from me now, so they invited me down to their his dad's house, and their whole family was going to be there, and they said, come down and come take photos of everybody. I was like, okay. And I was having a really tough time, and I hadn't done a lot of photo shoots just recently then. And I just got this mental block, and I went down to Naples with my boys. And we had a great time riding the ATVs and stuff. And we're just having a ball and we went to go take the photos, and I'm reviewing them when I got home, and they were the worst photos I've ever taken. And it was they were on their family's land in the original trailer that all the kids grew up in. And the dad grew up in with their grandfather that passed, that has the trailer's still there, and it's on this swamp thing. And they were the gator would come up and we would swim in the water with the gator. I was like, what? And yeah, but they've had the parents and then the sons and both of their wives and all their kids. And I'm trying to take pictures of them on this beautiful piece of land. It was beautiful. And they were a disaster. Why? It was I don't know what happened. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And I didn't have a plan for how I was going to make money, but I was like, I'm not good anymore. I'm giving up. Just screw it. I just was over it. And everything else going on in my life, romantically and whatnot. So, I pawned my camera to get money.
Oh my God.
Because I didn't have any shoots coming up. So I'm like, I got a month. It's fine. And then I lost my camera in the pawn shop. So I ended up, everything changed. I don't know. I went through hell. It was heartbreaking hell. And then
this is around what year?
This was, it was 5 years ago.
Okay.
6 years ago. I met the man that I met in that office that we stopped talking to, even though we fell in love and all this stuff. I had things to take care of. He had things to take care of before we could take each other seriously. And I hadn't talked to him in 6 months. And I was just depressed. I couldn't get out of bed. I had my camera's gone. I couldn't anything. I couldn't get out of bed. And it was days at a time. I would just take the kids to school and bring them back. And I was living on child support, and that was it. And it was so upsetting. And I wasted so much time. It was bad. It was really bad. But he came back, and then we started, because we both had fixed our problems so we could be together. And we dated for a while, and then he asked me to move in with him. And I told him no the first couple times. Just because I was unsure about, like, I'm like, my kids and then him. I was like, I don't know. And I know he's real particular and I'm real particular. And I'm like, I don't want to ruin this. And I don't want to live with anybody. I like live by myself. Like, I moved in with him and he pushed me to get another camera. Because everywhere we went, I'd be like, wow, that's great lighting. Oh, because this. And he said, you don't even notice it, but you're talking in photography language that I don't even understand. And you do it everywhere we go. Every single day, just either get the camera or shut up. And I'm like, okay, well, all right. So I found one on eBay. I was like, are you serious? And I found one on eBay. It was the same one that I had lost in the pawn shop. And it was used. And I was, eBay's kind of sketchy sometimes. And I got it, and it worked perfectly.
So you got the new camera, the used camera.
It was used, yeah.
So where do you go from here?
I had just a couple people had contacted me. Hey, are you still doing photography? Like, because they were friends with me on Facebook and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not really right now. I don't really have a space to do it. I didn't tell them what happened, obviously, but I would refer them to other people. And in the meantime, my friend Sherry that did the horse photography with me, she worked for a marketing company that did all the Domino's ads. So she had me come out, and I was so embarrassing. Oh, this is so embarrassing. She took photos of me at a Domino's, and they used them in a national campaign. And people in Tennessee that I knew were walking into the Domino's, and people were getting mailed home things. I was the employee, and I was the mom, and I was the this. I mean, there was a full poster outside of the Domino's. It's so bad. It's so bad. I will send them to you. It's hysterical because I'm like, pizza. And then it was just, oh my gosh. But she got me a job at this marketing company, and I got the camera, and she goes, why aren't you taking pictures anymore? And she was like, just come with me and we'll do some more horse stuff. And I was like, okay. So I would go with her, and she had so much equipment. I would just be her second shooter. I'd be her assistant. And I'm like, I miss this so much. So I got that camera, and then a couple people had contacted me. I would refer them to other people that I knew. A whole sorority that showed up to the studio one day and just hired me, and they had a girls' day. There was like 17 of them, and it was a girls' day. It was a lot of fun. But when I had the studio, but they contacted me saying, we're having our reunion, need some photos. I'm like, can't do it. I don't have anything. So I referred them to somebody else, and they said, okay, great. I didn't take down my Facebook and my Instagram, but I just never updated it. And a couple people started calling me, or I would say, hey, I need to get some more pictures, or I would start taking pictures of my children just at home when I got the camera. And I did, the man I was with, I did a few photos of him and his son at University of Tampa, just for his mom and his grandmother and, that kind of stuff. Because he was a teenager and he didn't have pictures, and I'm like, please. And I insisted. So, I started posting things, and then a couple people that I knew back at that office where I met this guy, I was friends with them, and they were like, hey, do you still do this stuff? And I'm like, right timing. Hey, let's do this. So I would start taking pictures. I wouldn't post anything. Moved out to Wesley Chapel, and I was still undercover doing weddings every now and then, or family photos, or, that kind of stuff, but never advertising it. There were certain people that always asked me, I'm pregnant now. I'm this. Oh, because it's a baby reveal or whatever. Like my friend Tracy, she was here Saturday with her second baby. So cute. Photos coming out this week. She did a holiday shoot too. Oh my gosh. She's very loyal. I love her family. Love her daughters. Hysterical. We spend all day together. I make sure I have no other photo shoots when she books. But I did a few things with her, and then I started updating the Instagram, and I started updating the Facebook, and then even the sorority girls are like, oh, she's back. One of my friends came down from Nashville, and she brought her friend, and I was living in this house now, and the lighting's really good in here. So it was not last Christmas, the Christmas before. He was very handy. He's in construction. He got a vanity for me. I'm seeing it right now, and he installed the light, this makeup thing. And I'm like, oh, because I love makeup. But my house is already decorated for, and the lighting is good for, boudoir. So she came down and brought her friend, and she goes, come on, let's do this. So he finished installing all the lights for me and everything, and we had a whole day of it. I hadn't seen her in years. And then after that, I'm like, I have to do this. So other people were asking me, and then she would refer other people, and then these people would refer other people, and then I started updating, and people started freaking out. So I didn't actively pursue it again until this year. And it was more out of, I need money now, because he and I broke up, but it was the first time I had been on my own. I've got 2 kids, and I didn't have a plan other than I was just working from home, and I couldn't cover all the bill. He still helped for a long time after we decided to part ways, and he still helped with the bills because I wasn't ready. Right. I wasn't ready at all. I didn't realize how codependent on somebody else that I was. And I still would see things and just be like, I want to take pictures of this. So I would have ideas. And then after I steadily started updating from even the photos I wasn't showing people from like the year before or this, and then I would schedule the posts on Facebook, and people started going nuts. And it's been just like snowballing from there. And
it's good.
I've nailed down my style, and every single shoot is different now. Every single one of them.
What would you say your style is?
It's my style.
Rina Alvarez.
I don't know. I don't have that part. I don't have the answer.
But there is something. I mean, obviously, people.
It's the Alvarez Photography style.
Yeah.
It's my eye. The Art Institute had asked me at one point, can you take on some of these students to go to, this was early on, can you take on some of the students? You don't have to pay them, just teach them to do weddings and this and this. And I'm like, I can't teach the eye. They will come speak at the class. I'm like, you teach technology. You don't teach. I don't know how to explain what I do. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you. I see things. I think photographers, videographers, artists, they just see the world completely differently. They do. Like, I see the good angle. I see the light. And I'm like, well, that's really pretty from here. I can shoot at a dump and I can make it look like it's, not even with Photoshop, just the angle and the lighting. And if I happen to get this close or back here,
Absolutely.
it's just, I already have it in my mind. But if I plan too much, I realized that, and it doesn't come out exactly how I overplanned it, then it just is a disaster. Yeah. So I get ideas and then I just wing it. I can't plan too much. And when they get there, I'm like, have an idea. Give me a minute. I'm like, and it just, the creative process just happens.
But you got to be ready to write it.
But there's also learning things from the depression, and because I write down ideas all the time. I'll be like, balloons. Oh, because this, and something with candy or whatever. I'm working on a mental abuse series now, just because one of my girlfriends was in a bad situation and having to coach her out of just constantly talking badly about herself, and she didn't even realize she was doing it. And I'm like, okay, this is not it. And I've seen so many other people go through that. They think badly of themselves, and it's because somebody else treated them that way. So I'm trying to document it, like with words on their body. And then, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's something I have to do for myself so I can stay grounded and not get burnt out again. So. And
you're doing a great service for people,
yes.
for people in that.
It's bringing, awareness to it. My friend Shannon, who used me as a guinea pig, she would go out and write signs saying that you matter, because she's huge into the whole suicide prevention. If you need anything, you need to call me, that kind of stuff. And I found that very commendable. And I wanted to do something too, just to bring awareness to anything, just anything at all. So after the year that I had, 2019 was tough. Very, very, very tough. I'm making vlogs about it just because it was, no one person should have to go through that many things, let alone one thing. And nothing that I provoked, nothing that I asked for or brought on with my actions or my work or just anything. Yeah. Just, it was the universe snatched me by the back of the hair and threw me in a pit and then dumped manure on me. And after I climbed out of one thing, it snatched me by the hair and threw me back in there and dumped it on top of me again. And it did it at least 7 times in a row, like in a month. And that's why I was like, and it was colossal. Yeah. And it almost crippled me. So, almost.
You're here now. That's what matters.
Almost. And I overcame all that stuff. So now I'm like, you're strong, you got this. And I conveyed